Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now in Kenya, 5 police officers were released on bond after being arrested for allegedly aiding a jailbreak. The incident involved a suspected serial killer who escaped from custody. Now 8 officers, including commanders, faced disciplinary action. For the escaped serial killer, a cash reward is offered for information leading to the suspect's recapture. Now, joining me to speak more on this is Joel Atuti. He's a security expert in Nairobi, Kenya. Hello, Joel. Thank you for joining us at this time.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, Joel, can you tell us what systemic failures allowed 5 Kenyan police officers to allegedly assist in the escape of 13 suspects, including a suspected serial killer as well?
Yeah, you see, this is something that happened on Monday morning. That's when we received the news that the escapees managed to break the jail and then they escaped. But you see, when the investigations have begun, some new information is coming out now.
Okay.
It looks like it was an inside job. Yeah, because that cell is one of the cells around that is very well secured. For one to escape, you will need to have a number of tools to do so. You will need for example, the hammers to break that chain and even to remove the stones. But when the investigations were done, it looks like it was something faked to misdirect the investigators, that it was done by the inmates. But when someone has been arrested, the police confiscates whatever that person could be having. Even the mobile phones are confiscated. Anything metallic is not allowed into the cell. So how did they manage to break? Is something that the investigators, the detectives need to work on and give us how that happened.
Now, but how do you think the prosecution could have requested a 14-day detention for the police officers only to have them released on personal bond?
No, the prosecution team was right. Because the reason why they were requesting that they detained for the next 14 days was to enable them to complete the investigations. When these suspects are out here, they will definitely interfere with the investigations. They will find a way of reaching even the escapees and they guide them on how they can hide from being caught. So it has an implication that the investigation would be tampered with. But again, when you look at the courts, our courts are guided by the Constitution. And there is that part of the human rights. So when the magistrate looked at the case and they looked at what the police or the prosecution team was presenting, and comparing with the human rights, I think based on that, the courts had to release them on the bond. And you see, one of the conditions I've seen is that they must be having someone who is their suality. So if this, for example, someone fails to report to the DCI for investigations as required, then the person who was a guarantee will be taken to task to produce this person, and then he will be the one to be taken into. He's the one who will have to explain where the person he had to guarantee has disappeared.
Yes, indeed, Joel. But then what measures can be taken to ensure that the investigating officer who's responsible for saying, where they are or how they escaped is able to complete, the inquiry without any form of interference or intimidation?
Now, when these people, once they are out here, they are also police officers. The DCI, the police who are investigating them again, they are also police officers. And they have information on what goes on during the investigation. So I'm sure the investigations will be tampered with, though there is no guarantee.
Okay. All right, Joel. Can you speak to us, on how Jumaisi Kalusha, I hope I got the name right, a suspected serial killer, managed to confess to killing 42 women, leading to his arrest. Now, his lawyer alleged torture and coercion and also disputed Kalusha's confession, saying that he confessed under duress. How reliable is his confession in the first place?
I think that one needs to be proven beyond reasonable doubt that the suspect was coerced to give in and acknowledge that he's the one who committed these offenses. When someone alleges that there was a coercion, there must be a proof. Was he tortured? What kind of coercion are we talking about? And
he said torture. The lawyer actually said he was tortured and coerced.
And he needs also to give a report from the doctors to indicate that the suspect was tortured. But if he bases his argument without evidence, then it will be difficult for him to convince the court that he was coerced, that he was beaten. But if there is no report from the doctor, it is not going to be easy for him to convince the courts that the suspect was coerced.
All right, Joel, now what disciplinary measures should be taken against the 8 officers that were accused, including the area and station commanders implicated in the escape?
I want to believe that the investigations will be done thoroughly and zero in to the particular people who are involved in this. Like now you see the OCS. When you are arresting the officer commanding the station, I believe he was in his house. The people who are on duty were the juniors.
But it doesn't stop him.
Officers.
It still doesn't stop him from being disciplined as well, or being fingered, because he is responsible for those on duty.
The reason why he's been taken into the reason why he has been arrested also, it's because he's the one in charge of that station. He should have received the report of what was happening, I think, before these things happened. But since the buck stops with him, as the OCS. He will know, he will argue his case out if he gets a good lawyer. He will argue it out and he will come out clean, I'm sure.
Okay. Now, let's talk about, the link or the significance, of where the bodies were found. Now, the bodies were actually found in a quarry near a police station. What do you have to say about that? What is the link?
It tells me a lot of things about what was happening. In Kenya, we have got the NIS, the National Intelligence Securities Agency, as a way of investigating whatever is happening. And they are supposed to have even detected this in good time. For this to have happened, I believe that the suspect was working in cahoots with the police officers. He was not doing it without the assistance of the police officers. Because how can you explain that bodies have been dumped near a police station? We have the police officers who are assigned the duties here to patrol this area to prevent crime. So, both day and night, 24/7. How come that this thing was happening first day when the first body was dumped there until we had around 45 bodies recovered from there? There is a serious security lapse and there is a failure from our police in terms of they failed to detect this. Then I failed to detect this. I think there's a lapse. There was a serious lapse.
Okay. Now, just before we go, and in 30 seconds, can you tell us what reforms are needed to prevent similar escapes and also to ensure public safety? Because we're talking about a man who confessed to killing 42 women, including his wife here.
Even the public has got a responsibility. When all these things were happening, I am very sure that there are people around him who might have noticed that this guy was committing crimes and give information to the police, for example. But it is very unfortunate that this serial killer was able to do all that he did, killing even his own wife. Like now, for example, where are the parents of this wife? Where are the sisters and brothers of this wife? If they missed to see a relative or maybe communicate with the relative a week or so, that raises a suspicion that something is happening, that someone is missing. And even when they discovered that the wife is missing, what kind of investigations were done? Was this matter reported to any police station for an investigation? So I think even the public also failed, because I know that this guy is well known. Unless this guy is working for someone, unless this guy was offering money to silence the witnesses to buy his way out, then it is not easy. Because I know in Kenya, our NIS...
Yes, indeed. Well, but sadly, we'd actually have to wrap up the show here. So sorry to interject. Time is not on our side. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us on this topic. We appreciate you for your time.
Thank you very much.